Drinking and driving is very simple. Anytime you drink alcoholic beverages or get behind the wheel of a car, if you're under the age of 21, basically one drink is going to put you over the legal limit, which is .02. Anything above that, then you go as an adult and you get your revocation of your license. So any drinking and you're driving at your age is not a good thing.
On January 7th, me and my friend Caroline were talking about going to a party, and we got ready together and discussed how I was a good drunk driver and how I should be the one driving to and from the party. We left the house about 9 o'clock and we were on our way to a party at Logan Robbins' house. We were drinking on our way there. When we showed up to the party, we were pretty drunk, so we were drinking on top of that. I was talking to my friend Travis in the garage, and I couldn't even tell you what we were talking about. Then some girls came up and just had like a short conversation, and I went back out and was dancing and drinking with the rest of my friends. And at that point, a lot of people were showing up, so the owner of the house was trying to kick us out, and that's how I ended up driving.
Last year, a 24-year-old girl and a guy were out driving. They were drinking and driving, got into a traffic accident. Tragically, she lost her life. Well, they were called out what's called booze cruising, and guy lost control. She got thrown out of the car. Tragic story, but the worst part was, for myself, was having to go tell the family at 3 o'clock in the morning that their daughter was dead.
I remember Caroline and Natalie walking in because I walked up, gave them hugs because we're all friends. We hung out and just talked, and then I went off and talked to some of my other friends. The next time I saw Natalie was we went into the garage together, met some new people. We were in there for quite a while just talking. She seemed fine then. She was acting pretty normal, like she knew what she was doing. And then eventually my cousin came out and I left the garage with her and I went out with where everybody else was again. And then the next thing I remember is when I saw Natalie again, she had mud all over her, but you could obviously tell that she wasn't okay, that she had fallen multiple times on the floor. She was dancing and having a good time with all of her friends.
My friend Travis had left a little bit before me, and he messaged me and said, make sure that I have someone drive me, but I wasn't thinking, just figured I was okay at that point to drive. After that, I don't really remember a whole lot, except for me and my friend Caroline that I went to the party with were arguing in the car, and I don't remember anything after that until when I was arrested that morning.
I arrived home about 2:15 a.m. in the morning, and next morning when I woke up, I had text saying that Natalie was in jail and that she was going to be getting some charges and stuff, so I was kind of freaking out, obviously, because she's a friend.
When I was arrested, I was asleep at the wheel, and I didn't really know what was going on. I didn't know I had gone in the ditch. I didn't know where I was or if Caroline was even with me at that point. It was about 6:30 in the morning. When the officer opened my car door, I got out and I fell down in the ditch, and he had asked me if I'd been drinking, and of course I said yes, and he asked me other questions. I looked over, there was an ambulance waiting for me, and he asked if I needed to get in, which I didn't, so he did some tests on me, like the blow and go thing, not blow and go, the breathalyzer. When I was arrested, my friend Caroline, her stuff was in my car, so I thought that she was still with me, but luckily I had taken her home. She had begged me to stay, but I thought that it'd be a good idea to just go home anyway. I'm just thankful that she got home safely, and I guess I was more worried about her at that point than I was myself. When the officers were talking to me, I was looking all around looking for her, and initially my first thought when I saw the ambulance was that she was in there and that she had been hurt, but thank God that she wasn't with me. I would have felt so bad. I blew a 151, so they arrested me on the spot and took me to the jail. There they had me do some more tests, like the I can't even think what it's called. They did like an eye test, and they had me do the walking test, and I failed both of them, so they took me inside and asked me some questions. They gave me one of their jail shirts and a blanket and some sandals, and they took me to my cell. They gave me a little code that I could call my mom with, but I couldn't figure out the phone, so I just went to sleep. Then a few hours later, the girl who was in the cell with me, she was released, and so I got up and tried calling my mom again. But I still couldn't figure the phone out, so I had them help me call her. And I got a hold of my mom and let her know where I was and I was safe, and that she was going to come get me here after a few hours, like at 1 o'clock, and she was getting a hold of a bondsman. So after that, I went back to sleep, and about 12:30 they took me out of my cell. They took my mugshot, asked me some more questions, got my fingerprints, and did some more paperwork, and I was released. I was charged with a DUI or a OWI and failure to maintain, so I went to court. When we went to court, I didn't know what was going to happen, so I was crying the whole time. My mom was with me when we went into the courtroom, and they just told me what I was charged with and what the penalties could be. So then they got me my attorney, and we waited like 2 months until we met again for court, and they told me again what I was being charged with, and we sat down and discussed if I wanted to be charged guilty or not guilty, and I just decided that I'd be charged guilty because, I mean, all the facts just showed that I was. And I was charged with the minimum amount of things, like fine-wise, and no jail time.
I could have prevented it if I would have just taken her keys and told her like she couldn't be driving, or even offered her a ride and then came back. But the owner of the house was kicking all of us out because the party was getting out of hand. There's too many people showing up, and it was kind of like a spur of the moment. Like, we didn't really think like, hey, Natalie should probably get a ride. All of us were just kind of like, let's get out of here, because it was time to leave. And I'm just thankful that she's okay and she's able to sit here and tell her story, because it could have been way worse than what it was. And everybody's very thankful that nothing bad like that happened to anybody else, and are all thankful that Natalie's okay.
Just some things to think about, especially if you've been out drinking. Don't drive. Or don't let somebody who says they drive better drunk. That is a myth, so do not do that. If you're at a party, do not get in a car with somebody who's been drinking. Your chances of getting into an accident or worse increase, obviously, if somebody's been drinking, because their motor skills are not where they need to be when they're sober. So I would say just jump in a car or take a taxi, or if need be, walk. Don't act like an idiot, because that will draw attention to us. If you're just walking home, then you should be okay. But yeah, just make sure that you don't get in, especially if you've been drinking. Make that call too to know when to say when, like they say on the commercial.
I just wish that people would realize that it's not a good idea to drink and drive. I know that I'm lucky I'm able to walk away from this, and I have the minimum amount of punishment, but it definitely could have been a lot worse off, and I just hope that it opens people's eyes and that they don't think that it's a good idea to drink and drive anymore, and that they just be smart and get a driver for them.